One way to earn a living in any world is to sell other people things. When selling rather than growing, gathering, or making is what someone does most of and is known for it, we often call those someones merchants. Some merchants befriend their customers and dedicate themselves to service, and most such are content with ways that work for them and cultivating a loyal customer base. Others want to change the world. These others may be conscious agents of change, seeking to sweep aside established ways and making mountains of coin by seeking monopolies or at least dominance, by swaying politics into warfare to force demand to rise and shortages to happen so they can charge more. They may be fanatics or helpless surfers riding a great wave of change and just trying to survive and prosper. And they may be ruthless eliminators of competitors. Some may conspire with other merchants in backroom cabals to fix prices or avoid competition, or even to overthrow rulers and taxes and duties and fees with them, and put their own friendly puppets in place on thrones. One such world changer strides the savage frontier in the last decade of the 1400s DR, and is becoming known as Alucard the Ambitious because of his driving energy and shatter or dodge all obstacles lifestyle as he seeks to become, as he often says, wealthier than Joaquin. Alucard Barander hails from Turmish. He's a short, stout man with a wide smile that never reaches his ice-cold brown eyes and huge, fluffy sideburns. He has the beginnings of a bald patch and lurches when he walks because folk used to ridicule him for scuttling like a rat, so he deliberately slowed down and made his gait heavier to wear the mantle of importance, and the result is a side-to-side lurch that vanishes back into a headlong scuttle when he's scared or in a real hurry. Always resplendent in silk shirts, vests, and overmantles, he wears jewel-adorned boots, striped bright breeches, and often broad-brimmed hats. His fingers are always festooned with many rings, and it's said these hide powders that can induce sleep, or worse, when poured into a drink, can unleash thick smoke when cast into a fire, or that can banish sleepiness or pain when put on the tongue of a living human. He's often described as darkly handsome. His hair, and especially his eyebrows, are so dark as to be nigh black, and even by ladies of certain tastes as dashing. Anyone who's negotiated with him will agree that he's glib and eloquent, with an almost purring voice. Those who've done business with him in any lasting manner might add that he's utterly unscrupulous. Since departing his native realm for the Sword Coast, something certain harpers believe happened after his kin discovered some of his fell deeds, confronted him, and when he sneered at them, cast him out of the family businesses in Nomthal and Zorhan, and starting to specialize in the northern interior behind the Sword Coast, the savage frontier. Alucard has acquired a reputation for arranging misfortunes, sometimes fatal accidents, for competitors, as he tirelessly travels the trade roads and back trails, working out of bases in Scornubel and Seacomber. He rarely visits any of the coastal cities except Waterdeep and Neverwinter, but is seen every few months passing through settlements far from the sea, where he'll always have tools, weapons, shoes and boots, clothing, belts and baldricks and pouches, reins and harness, files and stoppers, spices, salt, hand kegs of cooking oils, nails and hinges and pull rings, metal buckets, metal strapping, that is, long flat bars pierced with holes for spikes and nails, buckets of pitch, and small metal-slotted frames and mullions, panes of glass, for assembling into windows in his wagons, ready for sale. His other cargoes change constantly as he finds cheap bulk tapestries, toys, railing and tapestry rods, solid carved wooden wheels for small handcarts, kegs of smoked eels and fish, and the like. His wares may be everyday useful, but he has bigger plans. He speaks publicly of warehouses all over the north to keep prices down and swift availability of goods high. Harpers who heard him drunkenly muttering to the two leaders of the Bright Buckle an adventuring band. Some say band of brigands. Alakar is hired from time to time to assassinate rivals or to cause warehouse and bridge fires that profited him greatly by temporarily preventing competition, and were alarmed enough to report to Senior Harpers and Laeral Silverhand, Open Lord of Waterdeep, say that Alakar has much bigger ambitions. He plans to conquer Seacomber and use it as the seat of a new kingdom reaching west to take Daggerford and control trade along the tradeway between Waterdeep and Baldur's Gate. Those who scoff at such news as the boastful or empty dreams of a mere merchant with a large ego are warned of something darker by no less a source than Elminster, who as Laeral's unofficial head of intelligence set about investigating Alakar Barandar after Laeral received 2 in-person Harper reports. Elminster said that the ambitious one has not only sponsored a thieving gang in Scornubel, he has hit upon the very way Manshoon of the Zentrim gained power in his early days, secretly cooperating with beholders.
So, Ed, what is your favorite part of making these videos?
Helping someone or a bunch of someones in their Realms campaign by sharing details of the Realms with them.
And if you've been enjoying these videos, please consider becoming a protector of the realms. You can head on over to patreon.com/EdGreenwood. There you'll get access to early releases, special Q&As, all sorts of really cool stuff. And not only does that directly support Ed, it also facilitates us being able to continue making videos for you here. But hey, maybe Patreon's not your thing. If that's the case, you can check out the Ed Greenwood official adventuring gear, and I will leave a link to that down in the description. But for now, I hope you enjoy the rest of the video.
Thank you. At least 2 Eye Tyrants, allies, not rivals, as they were dreamed of by the same mother, Beholder, at the same time, and so came into existence as twins, but drained their parent to a lifeless husk in so doing, lair in hiding beneath Scornubel and are manipulating over 24 inhabitants of that city. These Beholders are the Eye Tyrants Zune and Zur, and they long ago subsumed the minds of several ambitious mages, and from them gained mastery of many arcane spells, including a magic that makes Alakar Barandar dangerous indeed. By use of a command phrase that he speaks aloud or concentrates upon silently in his mind, he can teleport from anywhere in the realms into the undercellar of his main Scornubrian warehouse, Barandar House, which also serves as the entrance to Zune's lair. He will be loath to do this, as upon every appearance there, Zune charges him with a new mission to undertake, usually to bring back some rare magic that will be difficult, dangerous, and time-consuming to attain, but he has several times cheated death in this manner when sorely wounded and cornered. Elminster says that Zur, who's far less arrogant about beholder abilities than most Eye Tyrants, sees Alakar Barandar as an extremely useful agent who should be aided, healed, and kept capable and successful so as to increase the reach and influence of Zune and Zur far beyond Scornubel, and quickly. The Beholders hope to subvert and covertly influence local leaders in Everlund and then begin work on behind-the-scenes subversion of Silverymoon. El believes that this pair of Eye Tyrants so enjoys manipulating unwitting humans that they are far more patient than most Beholders, and far more curious to see what humans do on their own, given chances to escape, pursue their own plans, and react to revealed perils. In the meantime, the Bright Buckle have largely abandoned their former careers as raiders and pillagers of isolated steadings and prospectors' camps in the upper Delimbir Vale to become Alakar's dirty tricks strike force. And so, as Mert put it, "He fingereth the long-reaching hand of this poisonous Pirbai bags." They are currently led by Throckral Drentz, a veteran half-orc fighter of great strength, hardiness, and skills, and a thief of unknown but considerable magical mastery, a female dragonborn who looks much younger than she must truly be, and goes by the assumed name Varloom. This is after the Beholders arranged lesson deaths for the former Buckle leaders, a married pair of half-elf warlocks named Servara Tarlim and Datharan Morendland. That is, They were killed in horrible fashion in front of their fellow Buckle members after they were goaded into defying the relayed orders of Zun and Zur, so the Buckle would learn the lesson that Alucard didn't stand alone. He had beholders behind him who shouldn't be defied in anything. Elminster believes working with the beholders has taught Alucard patience to temper his ambition, so he's now taking his time corrupting and blackmailing merchants and especially crafters, wagon makers, smiths, and carpenters in Seacomber, biding his time by gathering ever more information about who knows who and who owes who in Seacomber until he judges his network of agents strong enough to start making open bids for political power in that settlement. Harpers who've been assigned to watch Alucard include the gnome woman Talgales Meroun, who is of the opinion that Alucard wants to await some local crisis or scandal or other so that he can portray himself as the savior of Seacomber, not some sort of grasping, want-to-be leader opportunist. So Alucard Barander is a purveyor of useful wares to folk all across the Sword Coast North, who has ambitions to become much more. If the beholders ever perished, he might content himself with a ruling Seacomber and slowly coming to own mills, lumberyards, quarries, farms, and smithies before getting more politically ambitious and reaching for Daggerford. However, that's a might, and Elminster has warned local harpers to keep eyes on this glib and energetic merchant, not to mention the bright Buckle. Illustrial Silverhand, when she's not busy destroying liches with delusions of godhood in the realms, plans to work against Zun and Zur by steering their dreams in other directions than her beloved Silvery Moon. But that, as sages say, is another story.